Right, before we wrap up, I want to highlight Jay's latest book, which is the first in a series of collection of his works. I have it here, and Jay, your collection is as timeless as ever, as timeless and as timely as ever. And given the political and social challenges we're facing today, could you tell us a little bit about how this work speaks to this moment in time and why it's important for readers today?
Hey, and I thank you and David Denon for pulling together all these papers because it's been an experience for me to do a kind of retrospective and say, okay, does it add up to anything? Um, and I have learned from this retrospective, from going back over, and I see how central pluralism
Hmm.
has been to my life's work in a lot of different arenas. Um, and I think that's particularly important today in light of the significance of artificial intelligence,
Hmm.
because I think artificial intelligence is a very monistic system. Um, I mean, it sums up the past and the present, but it really doesn't give us choices about the future. My series of collected essays is titled Choosing Our Futures. Choosing Our Futures. And that's so much what my life's work has been about. I wanted to subtitle a earlier book that two friends and I wrote, Peter Schwartz and Paul Hawken. It was titled Seven Tomorrows, and then subtitled Seven Tomorrows, seven seven futures for the United States in the 80s and 90s, something like that. The subtitle I really wanted and that I really still aspire to is Toward a Voluntary History.
Hmm.
In other words, we don't just back into the future as something we have no choices about. That we face the very real uncertainties. I mean, throughout my work, I'm more and more convinced that I'm not a determinist, whether Marxist or Freudian or biological or linguistic. I mean, there's so many different determinisms, and actually, the delight is that every one of them is by itself true, just not totally true. It's one of the dimensions in which we live. And my first book was titled Many Dimensional Man. And I still want to embrace that that pluralism of values and pluralism of choices that we have toward a voluntary history.
That's fascinating. Yeah, it's a sense of empowerment and liberation to be able to look at the world in the future as opportunity, as possibility, rather than something that you're just driven by fate to the end of it.